Have you ever experienced or witnessed ageism in the creative industry? After running my own practice as a sole trader for the past 15 years, I'm attempting to find employment with an agency. After roughly 25 applications, I'm sensing that my age of 50 years is a potential barrier for getting through to the interview stage. Do you have any advice for an older creative in this situation? Thanks immensely for running such an important platform for the creative community. Don't know if I need to do that, but it just makes us all feel good, doesn't it? So.
Yeah, it does. Very nice. Interesting. Okay. I mean, I think the advertising industry is famous for its ageism, and traditionally at least. And I think the interesting thing of the last few years is that as structures have flattened, that has almost flipped in some ways. So I feel like our structure is much more senior, experienced people, and I'm employing less grads, which is a different problem in itself. So that being said, there is still, I think, a sense that if you're over a certain age, you don't get TikTok, or you don't, you can't talk to Gen Zs or millennials. And I think that is still a bit of a hangover. I think it depends on, I suppose, what is the job and the different types of agencies that you're pursuing, because I'm sure your experience, and also being a self-starter and running your own business, that would be very appealing to a lot of agency people, because a lot of agencies are now looking at, people are running their own accounts and running that, it's the structure of business is changing rapidly. So to have your own autonomy and your ability to sort of run your own thing would be very appealing to a lot of people.
Yeah, it's a the point you made around the young side of things as well is that there's a lot of assumptions, I think, made around younger people coming to the market that they're all over that stuff. And actually not necessarily. In fact, we've just completed AI research, and the AI usage of like 18 to 24-year-olds is a lot less than 35 to 45-year-olds, for example. And so there's this normal thing of like, at this point, we go back and say, oh, well, there's all this fresh ideas and new blood coming into the industry. But actually, yeah, you're probably right. At the moment, when we've got that period of instability, although is it ever stable, being able to have a slightly older head with more experience, and I think which also brings a calmness sometimes to situations and work is really helpful.
Yeah, I agree. Can I just add one more thing?
Yeah.
I think as we automate a lot of things, the things that we're not automating is taste, and taste is a tricky thing. But often I'm hiring for taste now, not for experience, or that's kind of my priority.
Although also, I guess a lot of taste comes with experience.
Correct.
Right? Yeah.
Usually.
Yeah. I think the other thing that's interesting about this question is like, after roughly 25 applications, I'm sensing it's age getting in the way. I think the job market in itself is tough at the moment. And I think it's not necessarily, it might be, but it might not be age. And some other things to think about are like, if you take that out of the equation, what else can you do to get noticed? And I think your profile, the way that you have thoughts and opinions on where things are at, being able to get that, finding a different way to, like, if you're just sending off applications right now, you might as well buy a lottery ticket, right? You've got to get in front of someone, try and meet them, I was talking to someone
do something creative.
I said, you know what I would do? I would create a pull-up banner and go stick it out the front of the agency that you want to go work at right now. And just go, like, because then you're going to be noticed, right? And you'll get an interview if you do things like that. So I think those things still apply whether you are 20 years old or 50 years old. Amy, do you have any thoughts on this one around just like the not giving up hope?
Yeah, I mean, it can be really hard to be resilient when you feel like there are biological factors against you, which you can't exactly control, particularly like you said with the creative sector, where we traditionally, it's what's next, the young, bright, shiny thing. But yeah, I think it's having that dialogue with yourself and really separating yourself from the role and who you are. It's incredibly tricky, but yeah, and I guess, you know, if I was someone with that experience, you know, and that taste, it is, like you said, being creative and getting in front of people. But you probably also, I would assume, have maybe a more of a network or a community around you as well. So having those vulnerable conversations of where you're at and can people help, or are they experiencing similar things, or what other ideas? So it can also be, and I guess, a time to lean into your community for those opportunities, whereas, you know, our grads definitely have less of a community coming into, particularly with opportunities. So, but as far as resilience, yeah, it's a really tricky one. And I guess, yeah, knowing that it's not just you, it's an environment you're trying to navigate. And so really taking those times to look after yourself and try not to let it get down on you too much. So make sure you're doing projects you love as well in between, while you are sort of jumping through those hoops, to make sure you're